What is the IRS statute of limitations? Difference for civil versus criminal tax. Imagine you're trying to settle a dispute with the IRS or facing a potential audit. Knowing how long they have to act can make a big difference in how you approach your tax situation. That's where the IRS statute of limitations comes into play. It sets the time limits for the IRS or the government to take legal action on tax issues. But these limits are different depending on whether the case is civil or criminal. For civil tax issues, especially civil tax fraud, there is no time limit at all. That means the IRS can come after you for civil penalties or fines at any point, even decades later. They can assess additional taxes or penalties whenever they find something wrong. This is because civil penalties are usually monetary and don't involve jail time. So, if you commit civil tax fraud by intentionally falsifying information to evade taxes, the IRS can pursue penalties forever. On the other hand, criminal tax fraud has a set time frame. The government generally has 6 years from the date the crime was committed to prosecute. This 6-year limit is called the statute of limitations for criminal cases. If they don't start the case within that period, they usually lose the right to prosecute. But this period can sometimes be shorter if the crime was less serious or longer if the defendant was out of the country or fleeing justice. To clarify, civil tax fraud involves the IRS assessing penalties and fines, which they can do at any time if they find evidence of fraud. Criminal tax fraud, however, requires the government to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you intentionally evaded taxes. They have 6 years to bring charges, but if they miss that window, they cannot prosecute you for that crime anymore. Understanding these differences is key for tax planning and compliance. If you're worried about past mistakes, remember that civil penalties can be pursued at any time, so keeping good records and honest reporting is always best. For criminal issues, it's wise to act within the 6-year window to avoid potential prosecution. Staying organized and timely with your filings helps you stay clear of trouble with the IRS, whether civil or criminal.